So if you go to the Albia homepage, you will click on the staff link and go clear down to the bottom and NWEA map login. That's what you'll click on. Then it will take you to your login. That is your username to get into a school computer, as well as that same password. Okay? All right, once you get to this page, you're going to go over to View Reports, and you're going to go to Maps Reports. All right, from here, there's 3 different reports that we're going to focus on right now, just to kind of get our feet wet and start to explore some data. So the first one is class breakdown. So if you click on that, this will give you categories for your students in which particular class that you choose. So there's some options that you can play around with within this report. So if we pull one up here, then you'll be able to see what it looks like. So it's going to give the students then in each of the categories for math and reading, and science if science was given. So once you have these groups, this might be something that would be beneficial to print off, so that way you have it in your hot little hands and you can set that kind of to the side, because the next one we're going to go into, you're going to want to use that document. What?
Were those scores pretty low?
The scores are great. Mrs. Kroll is doing a fabulous
okay.
job.
I just want to make sure I read that chart right. Since we're taping this.
Okay, so then learning continuum, that's what you're going way
I'm going too fast.
Okay,
Sorry.
so this was the learning continuum report. So if you clicked on that and you scroll down to the bottom, it will say test view. This gives you all the different options and score
Right.
areas.
So looking at Mrs. Kroll's group, she has a student that is in the 191 to 200 range. So if you click that at the top, and we're interested in how they perform operations, what's going on, what can they do, what's their challenges. So you can go down here, and if a student scores 191 to 200, you would want to be reinforcing these areas, developing these areas, and introducing these areas. So you can break it down, and reading is the same way. You can go to any type of expressions and equations. You can flip over here to the 211. There's a large group at the 211 to 220, and now I'm interested in the expressions and equations, and the same type of thing. These are the things you want to reinforce, these are the things that you want to develop, and this is what you want to introduce. So thinking about how can we start grouping our kids and working on individual or small group instruction right away. If you first do your class breakdown, your kids are already grouped, and then you can start looking at these different pieces. So it's kind of a quick and easy way to start your grouping, and then as you work with them, you'll see, okay, this kiddo really needs more help in this part, and this kiddo's over here. So then you can start to, again, individualize a little bit more if you need to. Or if it's something that Billy needs to work on at home, we can be communicating that this is the area. Doing great in all of these pieces, but this is the area that we really need to work on. So, and it goes all the way down. So the last one.
Okay, so if you go back to map reports, the last one, this is a brand new one. If you have the little map books, they're like the half sheet size map books. It is not included in that because this is a new report. It is called Summary with Quadrant Chart. So if you click on that, again, there's some different options that you can choose, so you can play around with that. If you go ahead and bring one up, we can see what it looks like. It's going to plot each student, and off to the side there's a key that will tell you that the squares, I don't remember if the squares are reading or math, and the pluses are the opposite. So you can actually take off reading or you can take off math with a click of a button. But it gives you up here in this quadrant up here is high achievement and high growth. So those are the students. If you hover over one, it will tell you what the student's name is in that particular area. Down here we have high achievement but low growth. And then over here we have high growth but low achievement, and then low achievement, low growth. So it gives you an idea of where your kids are on that spectrum. So that's a pretty neat visual to see where the kids are in a particular class.
So thinking about it systematically, if you look at that for the fall, and then you look at that in the winter, you should be seeing movement more towards the right side. So that will give you a kind of an overview that would be really nice. And if you scroll down,
So,
I'm
this-
sorry, go ahead.
Your high achievement, low growth, is there a point, a situation where you score so high in the first time, you're gonna be in that quadrant forever?
The higher you go, the less you have to increase. So it's a little bit easier to increase at a nice rate on MAPS versus Iowa assessments.
Okay. So theoretically, all those, we want those in the upper right corner.
Yeah, we want to all be in green. But we're okay with this, but we prefer green. So if you go down to the bottom, I'm gonna switch the student's name off there, if you wanna talk about that just a second. So if you go over here on the side, I don't want the names to show necessarily, but it'll show the colors, so if you wanna break it down and look at it, then you can look at fall and winter, and it shows it right there. Their projected growth, observed growth. So it gives you lots of information, again, if you want to break it down individually and then look at it systematically up above. So if we wanted just to look at just math, that's where we were. If we want to look at just reading, that's where we are. Anything else you want to?
No, I think that's it.
So we would really like everyone to take a look at those 3 reports and think about that. And then we'd also like you to look at those big 4 questions. What does the data tell us? What do we need to do? What do the students need to do? And we'll send that out to you, but those big 4 questions. Any questions from you?
The